Hi everyone! Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Julia Masalska and I'm here with the wonderful Lina Cordero. Woo!
Hi guys!
So yesterday we've started working on an amazing brand called the Toothless Connoisseur. And it's a lady that kind of is working a lot with food for her baby, and we've been working on the different assets for the brand, like the logo. We've been also looking at illustrations. So Lina and I, actually mostly Lina, has prepared some brand guidelines
Both.
that we are going to be using today to create some social media assets and also the landing page for her. So Lina, thank you so much for being here, and I'm so glad we can work on this together. It's such a pleasure. All right, let's jump real quick into this schedule and then we can get going. All right, guys. So I just introduced you to the Daily Creative Challenge. Before we had Amina Kabani with photo compositing, which was really amazing. Then we had Paul Trani with Photoshop at 9 a.m. And Spencer getting started at Photoshop. After our stream, you will have Peter Del Tondo introducing you to the XD Daily Creative Challenge. As you can see, we have 3 different Daily Creative Challenges going on, one in Photoshop, one in Illustrator, and one in XD. So today later, we're going to be reviewing some of the Daily Creative Challenges that you submitted for Illustrator. And after Peter, you will have Kyle T. Webster. He's like the Adobe superstar for Photoshop brushes, and you will have a draw along with him. I really recommend watching that as well. And after that, a design off with Vuduval and Clady, which is going to be super fun as well. So you should just stay tuned all day. Yeah, awesome, Lina. I'm so excited about today.
I'm super excited too, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm so happy to see people from Costa Rica and Colombia, my 2 nations. So for whoever's tuning in from Colombia, look at my shirt. La pollera colorada. Very Colombian.
Nice.
Thank you for joining again.
And I see Vuduval here as well. By the way, guys, real quick before we start, I posted a link quite at the top of the chat that you can go. It's a bunch of resources that you can look at to help the Black community. There's a lot of things going on, as you know, and we want to help you find ways to support the Black community. And this link I found really helpful. You can also find it on Jessica Walsh's page. So it's a very legit, very good link that you can definitely check out.
Yes, please go check out, and we can all help in any way or another. So it's good if we can all do our part. And talking about doing our part, for those of you that are new to this episode it's an Adobe Live special that it's called Here to Help. And what we're doing here, and this is the reason why we're actually both working at the same time, because we want to be as efficient as we can, because in these 2 days we are helping someone that's in need of branding because their business has been affected by COVID-19. So if we can go really quick into my screen, I want to share this link where you guys can encourage your friends that might need help, that have been affected by this recent pandemic. And obviously we're not able to help everyone because there's only so many episodes that we can do at a time, but please have them apply, and we're reading all of the applications. They're amazing. Everyone that has applied, it's been
and
so
we have
hard.
Sophia here. Sophia, good to see you.
Hi, Sophia.
Sophia is the owner of the Toothless Connoisseur, so she's going to give us feedback. Sophia, it's so cool to have you here. Honestly, it's always great to have the client right there and then to give you feedback right away.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in, Sophia. And talking about Sophia, this is you can see her link for her new business, the Toothless Connoisseur, here. If you guys can go and follow her, please, that would be amazing. She's just starting this new venture, and I know that can help a lot. Also, I have Julia's and myself, our handles there, if you guys want to stay up to date. And IG handles.
Yeah.
If you guys want to stay up to date with what we're doing.
Yeah, for me, my main one is definitely Instagram. I'm posting everything into my Instagram.
She is
backstage, things, my setup, and all that stuff. So that's fun.
Yeah, I get so many tips from your Instagram. So you guys better go follow her.
And Lina has also really nice page. She's a really great branding designer, and there is so many things I have to learn from her. You will see the branding guidelines and you will know what I'm talking about.
You're so sweet, Julia. I have you know that I'm so happy that we're able to collaborate in these. Julia was actually the first person that welcomed me into Adobe. The first stream that I did was with together. Her. Yeah, so we're doing a full circle here. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
let's jump into. Okay, so really quick, guys, I want to play a short video of Sophia herself. You guys saw her on the chat. Now you get to see and to put a face behind that awesome business. So she's gonna explain a little bit about the Toothless Connoisseur, and that, yeah, go ahead, Paco.
Toothless Connoisseur was born out of a need for me to make my son's baby food, because we could never afford expensive organic baby food pouches, and he honestly just ate too much. So yeah, I got in there and I made these recipes, and I asked myself, or what would I want to eat? I had some fun with it. So I started incorporating French food, Indian food, Caribbean, Italian, all of these flavors. And I watched as he lit up, because even as babies, they have little taste buds that can be excited. So I want to bring these money-saving, plant-based recipes to the world. I feel like, what is kid food? And I've discovered it's what you make of it. And now I've got a little boy who loves all the things he's not supposed to love. He has a peanut butter day every now and then, but for the most part, he is just adventurous with food, and it's amazing, and it's inspired me to bring this to life. So thank you for helping me on this journey, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Isn't she cute? Thank you, Sophia, for sending us that video.
Yeah.
So yesterday we left, for those of you that weren't here or yesterday, we worked on the logo designs for the Toothless Connoisseur, and we put a presentation together that we sent to Sophia right after our streaming, and she was able to provide feedback. This is a presentation that we sent. I'm just gonna walk really quick through it because you guys have already seen it, but we sent her 4 concepts. That was concept 1, this was concept 2, this was concept 3, this was concept 4, and then we had her make a decision. Guess which one she chose?
1, 2, 3, or 4.
1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna ruin the surprise for you guys. She chose concept number 1, and she incorporated some feedback. So the main feedback that she gave us was she wanted to use this color combination of concept number 1 and the entire logo, but she also really liked these shapes and these little illustrations from concept number 2. So we incorporated that into our brand guidelines. Another thing that she wanted to use was an aspect of the bonus concept that we incorporated, that was the portrait of her son. So we're also adding that. So cute. He is so adorable. He's so cute. He is the Toothless Connoisseur.
Yeah.
So
he's the one who started the whole idea of this business. So he definitely needs to be part of the visuals.
Yes. So we finished up there yesterday, and we sent this to Sophia. She gave us her feedback, and we were able to create some brand guidelines. And Laura is asking what the fonts that we used are. You're gonna see it soon, because that's included in the brand guidelines. Yes, we're gonna get into it. Also, Cornell was asking if this is a recurrent series or if it is a one-time episode. We're hoping this to become a recurrent series. So cross your fingers.
Yeah.
So last night we were working on the brand guidelines for the Toothless Connoisseur, and let me
We,
show
as
you.
in Lina. Lina
As
did
in
it all.
both of us. No, we both did. We both did. I'm gonna walk you guys really quick through this brand guideline, and explain a little bit of how I see brand guidelines and what works for me. Again, brand guidelines come in so many shapes, forms, and right, like you can see those short brand guidelines that are just like a one page with the logo and colors, fonts. Those are, I call, quick brand guidelines for my clients. You can see, like, if you've ever worked in advertising with a big company, they will give you a book like this big with brand guidelines. There's everything in between that too. So today I'm just going to present you guys how I do it for my company and what has been working for me and for my clients, and also taking into consideration that this can change from client to client depending on their needs. But this is what we did for Sophia, for the Toothless Connoisseur. So let me show you this in full screen and walk you through it a little bit. Okay, so I will start with the obviously branded as the company that we're doing, and then a page explaining what this brand guideline thing is, because a lot of clients are not familiar with this, and it's basically just a book to help you understand your brand's visual identity, and sometimes also your brand's voice if you're adding a copywriting aspect to it. In this case, we're not doing that. We're just focusing on design. But so I always start with the brand mood and overall mood of what the brand looks like, which is oftentimes just the mood board that I created for them at the beginning.
Nikita is asking, sorry, do the fonts that you use for the logo become the brand fonts, or are they usually different for headings and body copy? I mean, yeah, I think you can reuse the fonts from the logo, but I think for the body copy we have a different font that's a little bit easier to read, right? And when it's a lot of
yes
text.
and you know that definitely depends. Sometimes you just want to use a font for the logo that you're not touching ever again, or you're doing custom fonts for the logo, and then you have some other fonts. In this case, we are reusing the font that we used for the logo into the brand guidelines. So that really depends. That's people's choice. you can do both. So after that, I do a quick list of the visual personality and things that we love and that we're not so much into as a brand. So this brand in particular loves simplicity, la joie de vivre, friendly fonts, colorful yet toned down palette. It's feminine and light vibe, crafty illustrations, diversity. And then they're not so much into overly saturated or neon colors, using more than we need, complex illustrations, gradients, fake or overly edited photos, and Crayola look, which I took from her, from Sophia's words.
Yeah. And I think this is something that you can ask the client even right before you start the project, just to understand what they're into and what they're not. So you can really make the decisions from their perspective, and that you can create a brand that really represents what they're standing for. So this is basically what this is for, but you want to kind of sum it up also in the brand guidelines for future designers, in case they're using these brand guidelines, for them to understand, right?
Yes, completely. So both, and I usually like to include things both in their brand perspective and also as a designer perspective, because maybe Sophia, when she was talking about her brand, she didn't necessarily know how a gradient looks in an environment, but I know that because of this brand, it's going to a more artisanal look. Gradients are probably not something that applies to that. So I do include some like visual
gradients only apply after the 90s or the 80s, 90s probably. When we got into like computers, I mean, if you think about it, it does make sense, because the different styles, they come from the different history backgrounds. Back then they were only able to print, one color at a time, and print was completely different, not even talking about the design programs. So I think that's the reason why you kind of don't pick gradients, because they just don't work with the style, and the style has to do with the era that we are kind of talking about.
Exactly. So moving on, we have then I have a section where the logo goes, and we present different versions of the logo. So we have the main logo, the reversed color logo, just a word mark, just the icon, and a black and white version.
Uh, just a quick question here from Vanessa. Did you make all the illustrations? Yes, Lina made all these little illustrations, super cute, and also applying the brand colors. And Bob is asking, you have a handwritten font and a logo. That's the only place have you used it? I think the handwritten font is actually not handwritten. It's a typeface, right, Lina?
This one, yeah, it is a typeface, and
Yeah.
I'm using it, and you guys will see later on when I talk about. I think I'm gonna answer your question in the next. Right
Slide.
now when we
Yeah.
talk about upcoming
The next
slides.
slide.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
So for the logo, I always like to include some logo parameters, such as the minimum size that it can be printed and the free space as well that needs to be around the logo. And this is good to always take as a reference a part of the logo. So for instance, here I'm taking the T and doubling that, and that's the space that needs to be all around the logo when we're using it. Logo don'ts. And this is very important to provide your client with this, because oftentimes they will break these rules.
I think that's like the most fun part in the brand guideline. I love making those because it's just fun to make something that's not allowed.
I know, breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules, yeah, exactly.
Yes, so just like things that you don't want this logo, like basically don't touch the logo. That's what you're trying to tell your client.
Just leave it and give it some space.
Exactly.
Right? Social distancing.
The logo is social distancing. Exactly. Then I jump into color palette, and for color palette, in this special case, I did something different because I have the sample secondary for the illustrations. But usually I just include a primary palette with all of the codes, including hex codes, RGB, CMYK, and Pantone colors. I did not include all of them because I wanted to include this secondary for today's episode, but usually I would do that. Typography. Okay, so your question.
Yeah, there we go.
So to your question, so typography, and again, this depends on each brand. Some brands will have more than 3 fonts, or you name it. Like, this really depends on the creative.
Sam is also saying the only rule: don't touch the logo.
Exactly. Don't touch it.
And also we have this brand guideline of 50 pages, also things that you're not allowed to do, or all things you have to do.
Yeah, I love it because I feel like it can control people.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Controlling. And by the way, guys, brands like huge brands like Chanel or something, they have huge books like this thick of brand guidelines for very specific cases, and they imagine they're creating websites in different languages. So how does their website look in Japanese? They have a separate brand guideline for that. So you can really go into depth and really set a lot of rules for for companies like that. So it's really exciting. Actually, it's interesting to take a look. There's by the way, you can look online. There is a bunch of brand guidelines you can check from different brands, so I like to look at those as well.
Yes, it's super interesting. I just want to address really quick a question, Vanessa's question about how do you get Pantone colors. There's 2 ways you can do it. One, you can get the Pantone books and really match it as you think, and that's a good way because you're departing from an actual print and you can really see how it's going to look printed. But a really efficient way to do that and to look for Pantones, it's Adobe Colors. They actually convert colors into Pantones, and we can maybe after I finish showing this, I can show you guys how that works.
You can also go onto the Pantone website and enter the color codes from that you copy from your colors from Illustrator, for example. They also give you different suggestions. There's also different coatings and all that stuff, and from there you can also pick really, really well.
Perfect. I didn't know that. It's great. See, that's why I love talking to you.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Adobe Color has this function. So there we go.
Perfect. So for typography, going back to typography, I chose a font for headlines and sub-headlines. And I just stated the family of the font, because you can use the bold font or the extra bold for headlines, and then use a different one for sub-headlines. I'm going to show you guys what I usually prepare for clients so that they can have an idea of how to match it. And then typography for accents or single standing. So like you see the like this page where there's only typography, like one word or little accents, I included that handwritten font that it's called Make Lemonade. And fonts that are very intricate, I just like to include them as accents or as like single standing fonts, because otherwise this would be crazy on like copy. And then body copy, I chose this one that it's very simple, but it looks very friendly, like very the Toothless Connoisseur. So what I do after I choose the typography, I create a sample of how it could look all together. So if you see here, you have the bold headline, and then you have a sub-headline or a call to action, and then some body copy, and then here's like the category or another accent that you wanna add. So
it can be, for example, if she's gonna make a cookbook, it could be the page number, for example.
Yes,
I can imagine that.
Yeah, totally. So little things like that are like single standing, I put that one. And then I just do another slide where it says which font it is, so they can have a reference to that. And then for iconography, like we told you guys, she really liked the icons from the other concept. So we incorporated those into here and add them in there. And then one thing that I wanted to add for her here is the illustration style, because I think that the most important thing of the Toothless Connoisseur, it's really her ingredients and the variety that she uses. I think it's important for those ingredients to be ever evolving. Like we're not stuck with the ingredients that we have, but we can always create, and other designers that come work in this brand, they can feel free to create new ingredients. So I just add here a little paragraph about that and how that our illustration style is, and things to consider when working on the illustration style. One thing is that our edges are pointy or like unfinished. So if you think of like Matisse doing his things with scissors, it's not like a refined edge, it's more of like a chunky edge. And then another thing is limiting the colors of one ingredient to 2 or 3 if you need to do some accents, but no more than 3 colors per fruit.
Yeah. Vuduval is saying, love these illustrations. Yeah, me too.
Thank
I
you.
love them. They're so simple, but they're so nice. They're so pretty.
Thank
and I think they work super well with the brand.
Thank you. And then we have Sully. we added Sully into our brand guidelines, and he is like our brand hero. He's like the guy behind this brand.
And he's the son of Sophia, by the way, who she's cooking for. So he is basically the connoisseur.
Exactly. So we added him in there. We have some parameters of how to add him into designs. For example, if we're using the logo, we need to be using the word mark only without the spoon so that it doesn't look busy. But he's there. And then I usually include a photography part, and this is usually with clients that don't have photography. So I'm like guiding them through that process. In this case, Sophia already has some spectacular photography that she took, so no need to like specify that. we just added a slide with a photo treatment that we're using and how to achieve that. So we specified that in here.
I think Lina, you have to move to the side a little bit where it says treatment. Yeah, overlay treatment, exactly. So we basically created this very specified overlay that you can. Oh, there we go, Lina. You're on the
Hey!
on the other side now.
Took me out. Oh, like, where am I?
We just slid over, like woo, woo. Paco,
Whoa.
make us slide again. I'm just kidding. Okay, so overlay treatment. Basically, this is just an overlay, and it's very defined here. We have a color db, and we have a blending mode to soft light. So basically, it will soften up the photo and make it a little bit lighter, which is what we want. For example, for the social media assets, and the opacity of this layer is set to 70%. So this is perfectly defined, and you cannot make any mistake here. So that's I think that's really useful to kind of, if you're not gonna edit your photos yourself. So let's say Sophia wants to put up an Instagram post, and let's say she doesn't know how to retouch photos in Photoshop. So that's the least she can do. She can put this overlay so it kind of matches more with the other photos that she has.
Yes, that was genius. This was Julia's idea, and it's genius. I never do that. I'm like, what? I could have been doing that instead of retouching. Like, that's perfect.
Well, both will be better, but
and also
you have to enable your clients. You have to give them, the tools that they can use. So
yes, and that's one thing that I suggest you guys when you talk to your clients. See what's available to them, because for instance, I have a client that she has like no experience with any of the softwares. So what I'm doing is doing like a BSCO tutorial on how to edit her photos so that they look the same. So it's always good to hear them out and hear what they have available for them. But
it can also be, for example, something like a Lightroom preset that they can just save on their phone, and it's really, really easy to edit the photos with the Lightroom preset. So
yes, that's really good too. And then finally, the last part of the guidelines that I like to include to my clients is design in use, where we show how the design is gonna look when used. Right now, we don't have anything because we haven't worked on the designs, but we will today, and we're gonna add it in here.
Tim, you're so funny. Tim was saying, that's the famous song, right? Mana mana deep 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 mana mana. So Sophia, you will never ever forget the color code for your overlay DB.
Oh
my gosh,
that's
hilarious.
true. That's so funny. And then last page, I always include who to contact for questions. That's super important. So in case there's a designer or someone that's working on this brand and doesn't really understand or has a question, I add that in there as well. So those are the brand guidelines that we're going to be working
20,
from.
how many? 27
today.
Pages?
These ones are 28.
28.
We're going to add...
Guys, so Lina did us a lot of work. A round of applause.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
And this really helps. Like the only reason why I was able to put this document together, it's because I have been working on brand guidelines for a while, and I have a template that I work from, and this helps me a lot. Like already know what's there to include, because my first brand guidelines that I created took me probably like 4 days, but now it's a little faster to do. So let's
jump into it.
Okay, so today what we're gonna do, we're gonna jump into creating digital assets. Yes.
Sorry, just one thing. Chantal is asking, please share the guide.
Okay, I will share it. What I'm gonna do it like last time, where I did a landing page in my website with some assets from today, and I can include these guides so you guys can It's
onlychilddesign.com/Adobe Live, right?
Yes. Yes, I can include it in that same in that same page. Sounds good. Sounds good.
So onlychilddesign.com/Adobe Life. Only Child Design with only one D.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a great website too. There, last time I think you've shared also a lot of resources, where to find type pairings, type wolf, the link, and all that stuff.
Yes, and I have the branding questionnaire there too that I share with my clients at the beginning of the process. So
that's
also
really
helpful too if you guys want to check it out. Yeah. Okay, so we're jumping into creating assets. Julia is gonna jump onto social media.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly share this with you guys as a link. Oh yeah, Voodoo is faster than me. Okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Guys.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So you're gonna get started on social media templates. I'm gonna get started on website landing page, the look and feel of the landing page, and and then we'll switch screens, and you guys get to see what Julia's gonna be working on, and so let's get to work.
Okay, just before you start, real quick, guys, if you want to participate in the Daily Creative Challenge, I want to show you real quick the Daily Creative Challenge page, Paco, if you mind. So I have introduced the Daily Creative Challenge a couple minutes ago, and this is the site, just in case you guys just tuned in. We're doing Daily Creative Challenges every single day, so except for the weekend, of course. Behance.net/challenge/Illustrator, and here you will find all the things you need to know. Today's challenge is shapes. Use the blend tool to create combined graphic elements for a poster. So we are currently working on a poster series, and here you can join the community chat. And here you can also, when you click get started, you also get a starter file which you can work with, and it's actually a really cool mock-up that I have created for you for free use. So check it out and submit your Daily Creative Challenge to the link that's mentioned here with the community chat, and we will go ahead and review some of your designs in about an hour or something. But in about an hour. So make sure to submit those to the Discord channel. All right. Perfect. Let's get it started.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the website landing page, and one thing that I'm doing, again, like very important, listen to your client and what they have and what they're using right now. Sophia is using Wix. So I know that if I design something that's like too out there that needs my developers to come in and do something crazy, that's not gonna work because there's no budget for that. So what I'm doing, I went ahead and I went to Wix and I looked for templates that I thought would work for this brand, and I found this one that it's called the Raw and the Cooked. Also, I ran it through her. There's some things that she doesn't like from it. For example, it doesn't have a banner, so I added that banner in there and then created a screenshot, and I have now that screenshot of how this page is already laid out, because obviously you can change that, but the template is going to be you're going to have to change a lot of things on the template. So I want to stick to the template a little bit so that it's not very hard on Sophia later on to build this website. So what I do, I create a full screenshot and with an app that I just put into my Google Chrome. And then I start with an Illustrator file that it's 1920 by 1080, and then I put it in there as it is and start. I lock it. Well, I first make my artboard bigger.
Pia is asking, do you ever had to make some templates for posters for PowerPoint?
Oh my God, don't. Yes. Yes. I currently, and I wish this was like at the beginning of my career. I currently have clients that ask me for those templates. So yes, the struggle is ongoing. Have you, Julia?
Well, I I'm not. I could not say that I'm proficient in PowerPoint, but I definitely could do that. And there was like clients who came up to me. Like there was a client called I don't know. Maybe you guys know Charles Schwab. So they're like quite a big company, and they
Yeah.
needed a freelancer to create mockups, or not mockups, but templates for their presentations and all that stuff. But I was like, maybe you can find someone who is more like, doing it on a daily basis. And I honestly prefer working in Adobe programs. And also creating presentations was not the right thing for me, so I turned it down. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess if you're just starting off, it's a good way to kind of make money on the side. Definitely.
Yes, I definitely, I would not take a project that is like based on that. Like if they tell me you, but the cases that I've had is where we start a branding process, and then at the like at the middle of it, they're like, "Oh, can we get this on PowerPoint?" Like, okay. And then again, like I always try to accommodate to like really my clients' needs, because that's at the end of the day the purpose of this all. So
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. Eva's
Yeah.
asking if I organize my layers when working in Illustrator. I do sometimes. Sometimes. This one, for example, is just the reference. So I'm just gonna title it reference, and I'm going to lock it, because
I
I'm
for
not gonna
me
be.
I only organize the layers if it's something for print, and you have to have specific layers with like let's say it's a packaging design, and you have to have the outline, the information they put into the file that's not being printed at all. So it's important there to kind of have it all organized and to put your designs into the right layer. And so they know if it's a finish or if it's just a regular CMYK print. So that's where I think this is important, and layers are then important in Illustrator.
Yes, for sure. And really quick, we want to share this with you. This is something that Julia
Yeah.
changed my life with 2 days ago. So
It's hilarious.
and I'm always so intimidating to coming to these lives, because I'm like not the techie designer. But so eh, I never use libraries, I have to admit. But look at this. You can have a library where you have all of your brand assets. So yesterday,
Yeah.
after I completed the brand guidelines, I went ahead and I just transferred everything into the guidelines.
Yeah.
And
And
this,
now, and the cool thing is, Paco, if we can switch to my screen real quick, I can show you that I have the exact same things that Lina put into it, and we can work on, with similar objects. And I have the same things right here in my libraries as well. As you can see, I have this library shared with her, and let's see. I think you can do it by clicking on this little hamburger here, and then you can invite people, or you can even export the library as well, and that's also a way to kind of share it with others. But here we're collaborating on one library, and the coolest thing is it's not only on Illustrator. You can open any Adobe software, and you can just pull out the assets, drag and drop them into your file, be it Photoshop, be it XD, Dimension, anything. So I think that's the coolest thing, and I really recommend you guys working with this. Now you can see I have all the illustrations. I was just about to kind of pull them out from the folder, but I forgot that she already pulled it all in. So it's the greatest thing.
isn't that great?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are using libraries and sharing libraries with your coworkers, but that's great. That is so good.
Yeah, Chantal is also saying, cool, I didn't know you could share a library. We didn't know, I didn't know neither, until I had to find a way to share something like that. I believe in XD there is also a way to collaborate on a file, which is also super cool. Basically, two people can work on the same file in real time. So also something to check out.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. I love this website. I think it works really well with what we're going to do.
I really like it too. I think it's like subtle and classy, and it goes perfectly with the brand. Even the same color. Imagine the template already has the green pop up there.
Yeah.
But let me go back to my libraries here. And my library is not opening, so let me go to.
Yeah, cool. So I am excited. I also made myself a little mood board on the social media posts and the recipe cards and all.
Oh, you should show us that.
Yeah, let's take a look quickly. Paco, if you don't mind. Yeah, so I think it's cool to kind of take a look at different shapes and colors. I mean, we have our brand colors, but let's say we have like little cutouts here that we can also do in a similar way. And then we can use our illustrations to kind of fill it out. And of course, we're going to be using our typefaces, but just ways to see how, for example, a recipe can look like, that you can have different parts of the recipe, like ingredients, steps, notes, servings, prep time, teeth, how many teeth you need for that recipe. By the way, Lina and I, you know how you can put stars on and rate things? So what we want to do is we want to put little teeth. And since Sophia has a lot of recipes that are for different age groups, so we were thinking to put like a little little teeth. And when it says 5 teeth, it's for grown-ups, so you will need to have all teeth. And if it's just 1 or 0 teeth, then you will not need any teeth for that specific dish. So that was one of our ideas that we might work on a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. And I'm just I just prepared this little mock-up for myself to create social media posts, and these are going to be Facebook posts. So I'm not really precise in the sizes, but you can definitely download something like this from the internet, which tells you the exact pixels that you need to put a cover page, an image, a photo post, a profile picture, and so on. So we are going to do that for the social media.
Yes, yeah, one thing that I also do, because a lot of clients ask for social media stuff, I have a document where already I have like all of the sizes, so I just like copy that over to the next client and I do it with them, and I already have like circled in where if there's any part of the image that it's gonna be maybe cropped or not cropped, but like if it's gonna have an overlay of an avatar or something, I already have it in there, so I can consider that space. So that makes my workflow a lot faster.
That's
too.
Super
that
cool.
Helps.
Yeah. Lina, today we're going to watch you work a little bit more than me. Yesterday, I feel like we've like spent a whole day on my on my page, right?
Okay.
On my thing. All right.
Okay. So I'm just gonna do this.
Oh my gosh, these colors are so fun. I love them.
They're like inviting. I like colors that are like that you want to be inside of them.
Yeah, right?
You feel like going in,
Yeah, super cool. I'm kind of right now looking at different color combinations.
And right now what I'm doing, I'm just like making all the parts that the website's gonna have, and then I start filling in the information and putting in all the colors and photos and styles. But right now I'm just working on like what would be kind of like the wireframe thing.
Cool. That is super cool.
There's Recipes.
How are you all doing in the chat? Thor saying these two women are such a great duo. Thank you so much, Thor. You're the best.
Someone's asking
Cool.
Wix. Oh, I lost the question. Can you download a Wix template as an Illustrator file and design in Illustrator, then transfer that in design into Sig? I don't think so. I don't. And if can you?
Sorry, what was the question?
If someone knows, please let us know. If you can download a Wix template as an Illustrator file and design in Illustrator, then transfer the design into the site. I am pretty positive that's not possible, but it would be amazing if it was. If it was, it would save our lives.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that most of the printers share their their die lines for packaging, for example. I'm so thankful for that because that is so helpful, literally.
Oh yeah, it's a pain to do.
Building an own die line file is so much work.
Yes.
Putting everything right and settings, and so they understand what you're doing there. So it's really, really cool. That is really nice. And it's so easy to make decisions here right now because I'm literally looking at the brand guidelines on the side and I'm thinking, so what kind of shapes should I use? And I'm like, okay, so we cannot use any gradients here. That's good to know. Now, I was not about to use gradients anyway. So.
You better not mess with the logo, Julia.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave enough space for the logo. Don't worry.
Don't you dare using a drop shadow on the logo.
Yeah, I was just actually messing with some drop shadows for the logo. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. Let me see if you have any shapes here. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna draw some of these blobs that you have similar to what you have in the brand guidelines. I thought they're cool.
Cool. Okay, so the boring part is almost done, guys.
Wait, there is no boring part here. Trust me.
I promise.
It's exciting for everyone.
So again, what I'm doing, I'm just going into my design and creating like a wireframe based on the template that they already have to work from, so that she doesn't have to change a lot of the things around, and it's a little faster for them to work this way because they don't have any website design experience. So I want to make this easier for them, and the best way to do this is using a template that's already out there, but incorporating our brand elements. So that's what I'm doing right now, and Julia is working on some assets.
Yeah, I'm working on social media assets. So I'm just actually right now I'm just looking at the different shapes that I can create to kind of use the similar style that the brand guideline have, but still kind of, get a little experimental with the photo. I need some photos.
Oh, and we have some great photos that Sophia took.
Yeah, she's so good.
So good at taking photos. We'll show you guys the folder.
And by the way, Sophia is also a hand model. So she probably saw a lot of photo sessions. It was part of a lot of photo sessions.
Yes.
So, that's also a way to learn things, right?
It is, for sure. Let's see. Oh, hello, Deed. Hi.
Who's there?
Thank you. That's my friend Laudid.
Oh, cool. Hi. Good to see you.
He's saying it's really good to see us work together, and it's so much fun. We've worked together with Laudir too.
Yeah, cool. Arif is asking, copy this design. I'm guessing the question is if you're just taking the design from the Wix website. I think it's not about copying, it's about creating assets that she can use to put the Wix site for herself together. So
Exactly.
Jeremy is asking, can we have a whole week of Julia and Lina?
Oh,
that is so cute.
Thank you. That makes our day. I think I speak for you too, but yeah. So back to the copying the design. What I'm doing is I'm going in because they're already working from a template. What I'm doing, I'm like copying the big blocks of the template that they have that they're working from, and then I'm incorporating, because I already know that these elements live on Wix as they look, so I copy them and then I give them the brand twist, because we unfortunately are not working from zero for design. We're not working with a web designer for this. So I mean, with a web designer, with web developers that are going to be able to transfer my own design into their website. It's more like creating the look and feel for them to be able to transfer it into an already existing template. So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, super cool. Thor is asking, I can't wait for Adobe to add collaboration in Photoshop and Illustrator too. Yeah, we do that sometimes. I believe in the past streams, I've also been working in Illustrator for the first day, and second day I've been kind of using the designs and created mockups in Photoshop. So yeah, so it's definitely something we're already doing. And it's super fun. It is super fun.
Let's see. So tell us, guys, what do you guys use for your own websites?
Yeah, I always love to know what people are using.
Yes. Tell us about you.
Danilo is asking, can you tell us a little bit about how your designer path started? Lina, you go first.
I go first? Okay. So it's it's actually a funny story. Well, I always liked design and designing, but I actually wanted to go into advertising, and that was my dream. But then I moved to the US and I didn't speak English. So I needed to learn English, and I started taking ESL classes in my college, and I was getting really bored because they were very, very slow. Like, they took forever. Like, in 1 week they will teach you how to say hello, and I was like, I don't think I can do this for a long time. So I got out of all my ESL classes, and I just started taking random classes that I could understand, so like easy enough to follow, like ballet or things that I already knew, like French, but that was taught in English, so I could start slowly learning. And I was like, oh, design, it's like visual. So I took a design class that you were following along on a computer. So it was at first my way to learn English, and it became my career, and I just fell in love with it, and I've been doing it for more than 10 years. So I ended up getting an AA degree in graphic design, then moving on to art school, and yeah, then working full-time for a company. I started working in tech first for a tablet company, and then I went into working for television for like 5 years. Yeah, like 5 years. And then I decided to open my own company. That's my path.
That's crazy.
How is
I think
yours,
it's really
Julia?
cool. Mine was, so I initially started the university, and I was it was in Germany, and I was learning product design, which there is not product design as you know here. It's more like industrial design. So it was all 3D objects, and we've been working a lot with 3D software. And this is where I basically got my, all of my essentials, design history, color theory. I got to learn a lot about production materials, um, different ways to print something. And that kind of also introduced me a little bit more into graphic design, which I always was so passionate about. I always imagined myself working for some magazine, going to the fancy office, but I never did. But I'm happy about that. But so I don't know. I started working more in Illustrator more and more, just because industrial design projects were also really long. So they always took about 6 months to kind of complete, and it was a very very long period of time until you have some results. And with graphic design, which by the way is actually something that I've taught myself, so I've learned the whole software and the whole branding process all by myself, but it has similarities with the design process you use in industrial design. So that, for example, let's say you figure out what the client needs, then you design something, you create a prototype, you get the feedback, apply it to the prototype, design something based on the feedback, get feedback again. So in my experience, it was very very important to get that feedback from the client and to design accordingly out of the perspective of the client. So that's something I've learned in school, but software and branding process and all that stuff is something that I've kind of learned throughout the years. And I've been designing now packaging mostly and branding for about 5 years. So
I can't believe you were self-taught. That's amazing. That
yeah,
takes
well,
so much discipline. I really admire that.
thank you, Lina.
I,
Thanks, you're so sweet.
no, seriously, seriously.
And that's
It's
why
amazing to see
sometimes
that.
when people ask me like, is it possible to learn it yourself, it's totally possible. So I can definitely encourage anyone to learn it yourself, and learn by practicing, take on client projects, start with smaller ones. I started as a freelance designer when I just started about 5 years ago. I was working for my friends, for my family, like that. And then I became better. And then my family was like, okay, so this girl is getting better. Let's recommend her. So they started also talking to their friends. And then I had clients that were friends of my parents, let's say. Yeah. And from there, I also started working with people I didn't even know, which was a lot of pressure because I felt that I have to perform super well, which you don't have when you work for family. It's different.
Yes, it's definitely a big step when you start taking on your own clients, and to
Yeah.
even for me, coming from a company that I was, like all the when I was working for another company, at the end of the day it was their name on the line and not mine. But now it's triple the pressure because it's all on me. So
Totally.
but it's also it's so rewarding. It's been, I think that freelancing or having your own company, it's a really good
And it's
move as
also
well.
putting a good amount of pressure on you to really push your butt and to really do it, not to be lazy, but really do it because you're getting paid for it. And when you get paid for something, you have a responsibility. You have somebody waiting for you to design it, to finish it up. And by the way, what really inspires me working with clients is also that I can help people, make money, grow their business. And there's some amazing businesses that I just helped with for very little money, just because I was so passionate about their business. And I was like, hey, just let me help you. I know how to make your menu better, or I know how to help you with the packaging. Just let me do it. And after that, they noticed that it really makes a big difference, and they were able to make more sales, obviously. So those things are really, really helpful for you to understand for yourself that you have an impact as a designer. And yeah, that really helps me, motivate myself to
Yes.
get up, to not be lazy. I started recently. I started waking up at 7 in the morning, which is really, really unusual for me, to be honest. I am not the person to wake up early, but yeah.
That's such an inspiration. And I have a question here from I'm gonna kill your name. Yotimia. Yotimia? I hope I've said
I think it's Jotirmia.
Yotimia? Okay, I apologize in advance if I'm killing your name, but that's a really good question, and that's something that I used to struggle a lot. He's asking, how do we make sure that our font size or elements are appropriate size on a normal screen? Since sometimes we are just zoomed in and have a large screen, and that's something that I struggled when I started doing web design, because you are on your board and you don't really have that sense of like what's really working, how is it going to look on screen. So actually doing what I just did with this website helps a lot. If you take a website that you really like, or like sections of websites that you really like, and you're like, oh, I really like how this banner right here looks, you can take that, you can take a screenshot of that and put it in your computer like I just did, so you can see like the ratio of how much that takes, like the size of that font to what they're using. And that has really helped me on the web design process. I hope that was clear. I don't know if you're following me on that, but if you take a website that its proportions are already working, you take a screenshot and you then use it as a reference, you'll be able to see that the proportions are okay for screens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how do you have any tips on how you do it, Julia?
If I would go into UI UX design, I would copy other designs for the first couple of days at least, to understand how people build it. And then I think that really helps. Of course, you're not supposed to publish them as your own work at all, but it really helps to copy something to know for the next time how you do it. So you will learn things like what are the sizes of the typefaces they're using, what are the proportions between the header and between the heading and the main text. And also you learn different effects like transitions and so on, and how to make buttons for what, how to make things stand out better. So you learn by doing, basically. And I think a really good tip here is just to copy others designs and learn from that.
Yeah, I think and you don't need to necessarily copy the design itself, but at least see like the proportions that they use, because that's gonna help you a lot. And also if you're like, oh, I don't know if the font size that I'm using is too big or whatever, you can go to websites. And I actually have this app where, let's say let's go to my website. And so right here, there's an app that it's called Fontanello that will tell you what font they're using on a certain website and how big it is and like the colors and everything. So that can also help you see like the sizing of the fonts to be used on websites, because I know it's, when you're starting, it's really hard to really know exactly what to use. So those tools, and again, it's called Fontanello, if you guys want to download that into your thing. Okay, it's already 1. So
that's okay, we're good.
We
still have 25 minutes until the daily creative challenge reviews, and then from there we still have another 15 minutes, so we technically have about 40 minutes.
Okay, great. So
don't panic.
Okay, I won't panic, but whenever you want to switch to your screen, you can do that for a little bit too. So
no worries. I'm just working on, I don't have a lot of changes, to be honest, right now.
Okay, it's so hard to talk and work at the same time, you guys.
I know.
Bear with us.
I'm gonna take the talking from you for a little bit.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So I'm gonna go into Sophia's pictures, awesome pictures that she took, and I'm gonna look for pictures that I like. And I actually have some that are edited too by Julia.
Yeah.
So let me just take some for now and then take the ones that I have edited by Julia and see what works.
Yeah, a good question here. I think, guys, it's really, really important that we talk about, pricing, design. And I feel like it's something that nobody ever wants to talk about, and I don't understand why. I think we need to all kind of communicate and make our prices so that the client does not have the option between $20 and $500. But so we need to talk about it, and we need to know how to price ourselves. So Vanessa is asking, what price do you guys charge for a logo? How do you know how much to charge? Lina, your turn.
I have packages that I have already pre-established, and those packages are, like one package has only the logo and quick brand guidelines, and then a following package has the logo, brand guideline, and intricate brand guidelines. That's like the premium that goes like more into the branding of it. But and also I'm, again, like I go back to like listening to people, especially right now in these circumstances. I have been very flexible with my prices because I know people are struggling right now. So I also like to hear them out. But I have a starting price, and I can publish that too into the, because I have a package with all of my prices. I can publish that into the same link that we're going to be publishing all the assets, so you guys can have a reference. But you also have to take, it's hard to talk about pricing in that way because you have to take into consideration many things. You have to take into consideration your experience. You have to take into consideration are you a freelancer, or is this a company that's behind? A company usually has a little more overhead costs. Is it like, I think where you are residing also makes a difference, because probably if I go with my prices to Costa Rica, they would be like, oh, this is a little too expensive. Or if you're based somewhere else in the world where obviously there's a little less of a purchase power, you also have to take that into consideration. So it's a little hard because we have such a diverse audience. It's a little hard to like say, oh, these prices are going to work for you, because again, you have to take so many things into consideration. But you can definitely, I will share my packages with you guys, and you can see what my prices are, and then like compare with where you guys are at.
Yeah, I also think it depends on the location, because, for example, in India, it will be completely different price range. Here in the US, of course, it's also different. I can say that I can charge more here in the US than in Germany back then, because first of all, my experience is better now, and because a little bit of a background story, I've been working for as a freelancer for about 2 years in Germany back then. So since then, I've been living in the US for over 3 years. My experience, of course, got better, so I'm charging more. But also, the countries are different in their mentality towards branding and all that stuff. So in the US, I feel like people are willing to spend more money on that kind of stuff, because they know and they appreciate the value of packaging and branding, and they think it's important. There's a lot of competition here. I mean, if you look at all those great brands, most of them, are in the United States. I know so many great brands here in the US that I would have never seen, for example, in Germany. Of course, Germany has its own great design, and it's more like in the industrial field. They have some really, really great, products out there, high quality and so on. But in terms of branding, I can really see the US kind of, for me, being more valuing the design more, the graphic design, at least, and branding.
Yes.
And so guys, if you want to think about prices, do not look on Fiverr, because this is not the way to sell your work. There's not only is there a lot of people who are just like stealing everybody else's work, but also there are those clients who are looking for very, very cheap just any kind of logo, just anything. But that's not the sense of graphic design and branding. Branding is to create a solution that kind of like we are doing here. We're taking so many things into consideration when designing for Sophia. It's a completely different way of working. So when you're designing a logo, don't think of it as a logo, think of it as a whole brand. And when I'm working for somebody and they ask me for a logo, I will be asking them, what exactly do you want to achieve with this logo? Who do you want to target? And the whole background thinking, how do you use the logo? How can it be stacked? Can I use it, in the large size as well as in the small size? So that adds up, and those projects can get into like $2,000-$3,000 projects for people. Of course, if it's a smaller business, I would definitely lower the price. And it also depends what kind of clients you're working with. Like if I'm working with with a big company, let's say I'm working with, I don't know, Panda Express or McDonald's or whatever, of course I'm going to charge them way more than I'm going to charge my local store. Of course it makes a difference. And just consider those things. How much responsibility do you really carry with the branding and with the logo? How many people are going to see it? This is a way also to look at it. Look at their following. Do they have 50,000 followers, or do they have 20 followers? Your responsibility rises with the size of the company. And then also what did I want to say? I lost my point. Anyway, so you get the point. Each client for me, each client has their own price, and I'm totally modifying my price ranges depending on the client. So even if you see somebody tell you, you should charge between $200 and $500 for a logo, it's not always the case. Like Lina is saying, you can create lists for them and options to pick from that will definitely help them to create a more comfortable price range for themselves. And also, it's a psychological trick. If you have 3 options, you cannot, and you are being asked whether this one, or this one, you're not being asked to say yes or no to just one. So giving a person 3 options will make them decide for one of them, right? Be it the pricier or the lower price. But if you just give them one price, they can say yes or no, right? So they have the option to completely decline your offer. And that's something that I really like using. I just give them three prices, price range. Here you will have only 1 review. Here you will have 2 reviews. Here you will have 3 reviews with unlimited whatever edits after. Or I give them different amounts of logo files. Let's say this one does not get the source file, and that's why it's cheaper, because they will have to call me back and make changes. But people don't want that, and usually it's not actually not even part of my offer, because I don't get clients like that. My clients are actually all really nice, and they understand. I explain to them what this is all about, and branding is really going to improve their business, and it's going to accelerate things. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you guys.
Pricing is a tough thing, because you also have people that like you have to take into consideration the value that you're bringing a company, and not only the hours you're working. I recently had a client that contacted me, and they wanted and they were like, oh yeah, we want this, like, how many hours is this gonna take you? Like, but you're not understanding, this is not about the hours that it's gonna take me right now. This is one, all the hours that it took me to develop these skills. Second, is also about the value that I'm bringing your company. So if it takes me 10 hours or 20 hours to develop your entire company's branding for the next year, you're not paying me just my hour rate, and there's a lot of people that don't understand that it's not about necessarily, and there's a lot of things that I do hourly based, and I actually even sometimes go to clients that can't pay my branding packages and can like help them. I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do on an hourly base to help you. But it's very different when a big company comes to you and they want to take advantage of your hourly rate for for a big project. So look out for that too, guys.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes if I really like a certain project and I know this will be a good resource in my portfolio, sometimes, of course not for big clients, but if I'm saying, let's say I'm doing an Adobe Live and I know I'm going to be working on the brand anyway, so why not create something for somebody who really needs it, like we're doing it right now. So technically we're not getting paid by Sophia, but we're still doing it because we would develop something anyway. We will work here and create educational content for you guys anyway, so why not create something that's helpful?
Yes, I agree.
And I think the best way to see things like that is with context to a real client. So I really appreciate the fact that we can do this here right now.
Me too. Thank you, Adobe, for letting us do this.
Thank you. Yeah, I love the Adobe team. They're so nice.
They're like the nicest person in the world. Like, I swear, my first time that I went there, I was like so nervous. Like, oh my God, I'm going to the Adobe offices. And they just make you feel so welcome. And you guys are amazing. Thank you. Shout out to everyone there.
Yeah. That is so cool.
Okay, so I'm starting to just put some elements of the brand that we have into this template and modifying to adapt to our own brand fonts. So I used all of the fonts that we had for the brand in here, and then I started to add some of the elements as well, some of the illustrations. I still need to add some photography and some touches, obviously, like some nice add-ons to these, and you guys will see how this comes out. But Julia, do you want to share what you're working on? I don't want to
sure.
without seeing, because I know we have to jump onto.
Of course. No, I'm just basically working on different assets. As you can see, I've created these shapes, and now I'm kind of filling these shapes with the different photos that we have. So we have different purposes for our social media, and that could be, for example, creating a certain recipe. Like, let's say we have a new recipe out, and so how would this look like? So and again, I'm using the logo here in different variations. Of course, I'm leaving it a lot of space.
Okay, thank you.
I'm giving it a lot of space, and I also, my plan is to use more photography here, and I'm also going to add some text in our typefaces that we have, and also I'm going to use these shapes to fill them in also, either with photography or with some text. And maybe I will put the photo in the background and use this shape to write something in it. So like, maybe let's say some message, let's say new recipe, whatever is out. So yeah, I'm just trying to find different ways to and as you can see, it totally works together. I feel like if you look at Lina's what she's doing right now, and this could totally work together, just because we have the brand guidelines.
Because of the brand guidelines, guys. Like, that's something that I started doing to my clients. I'm like, there's no way like you're walking out of here without brand guidelines. And even when they're trying to negotiate prices and they're like, oh, wait, can we just get the logo? I'm like, there's no logo package with no brand guidelines. Like, that's it. There's not it. So yeah.
Totally.
Take that into your work forever, because it's super important.
I agree. It is totally important. So I'm just going to kind of, mask out a couple photos so I can use them in the background of this post. This looks really delicious here. So I want to kind of keep it in here. I'm getting hungry, by the way.
I know.
Looking at this.
Yeah, you're making us, like, every time I go through her pictures, I'm like, this looks so good. I can seriously wait for your blog and your book to be out so that we can start cooking, because everything looks delicious.
Yeah, and again, since I have the picture here, we have our brand guideline telling us, okay, actually, let me just turn it around. Maybe that will look more interesting. So our brand guideline is telling us that we can use an overlay to brighten up the photo. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to make a little rectangle on top, and I'm going to use the exact things that we mentioned there. What was it again? No, it was a different DB, right? Was it that? Yeah, I think it was that. And it was on 70%, and it was on soft light. So I'm going to window, transparency, and I'm going on to soft light. And see, our photo looks completely different now. It looks Instagrammed. It's Instagrammable. So now, of course, different photos have different layouts, and we can, play with that too. And our layout would depend on the type of photo. So I can even do it like this. Oops. Range, bring to front. And I'm just trying to find the right arrangement for this. Okay. Yeah, so this is basically the way I'm doing this. And I'm always having my libraries right there to kind of look into it. And on my other screen, I also have the brand guidelines. So that's how I do it. And I think, all right. And we have only 7 minutes until the Daily Creative Challenge review. So I'm looking forward to that too. All right, so let's go and add some text here. I'll have to import the typefaces, Lina, because they're not loading here. They're not loading. Our fonts server had a little trouble yesterday, I believe.
Well, yeah, we can do that later, but they're on our folder, on the client folder.
Yeah, I'm just going to import them.
Connoisseur.
Import them into my font book, I think it's called. All right. How are you all doing in the chat? How about to hide that little dark spot on top? I mean, to shift a little to the top. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you want to hide it? How do you want to hide it? I don't want to hide it. I want to write something on top of it. Okay.
What do you prefer, mouse or Wacom? I use my
working with
Wacom,
my mouse.
But
yeah, I'm working with my mouse, and I also have a touchpad, but I'm not really working with it right now. I'm mostly working with my mouse.
Yeah, I mostly work with my touchpad and the Wacom when I need to do some illustration.
Illustrations I mostly do on my iPad. That one that I'm reading your comments on right now. So
I work a lot on the go, so I also just work from my laptop with nothing, and that works for me.
That works too. Yeah, I used to do that for the longest time because I used to love to travel and to work at the same time. That was like my favorite thing to do. I think I've told you already that I spent like almost 1 year in India. doing fun things, and that was a really cool experience. What was your guys' best experiences traveling? Let us know in the chat. I would love to know.
Oh God,
Yeah, saying totally love enjoy the stream. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, my best traveling experience was when I went to live in Argentina when I can't remember how old I was, but I was like 20, 21
Nice.
maybe. I went to Buenos Aires for like 6 months, and I actually studied. I went to culinary school, so it relates to this project. But yeah, I love that city. It's definitely, I think, my favorite city in
Cool.
the world. I love it. So if there's any Argentinians looking at us, I love your home.
So cool. And you also have a little bit of Colombian background. I remember one of your parents or something.
Yeah, my mom's Colombian. My mom's Colombian, and I was born and raised in Costa Rica. So
Nice.
a little combo there.
Yeah, interesting. That's super cool.
And
I love that.
you're a melting pot. You have
everything. Don't start that. Don't start that. Yeah, I know. I was born in the Ukraine. Then I grew up in Germany. Spent like 19 years of my life, which made me pretty German, and now I'm here. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's great that you get to move around so much.
It's fun. I love traveling. I miss traveling a lot actually these days. I would love to travel somewhere.
You know, you're always traveling. Every time I see it, well, not anymore, but before this happened, you were always on a plane. Like, where to?
Yeah.
Like, where are you going again?
Yeah, I used to go to the Adobe office very often as well. Now you can stream from home. Now I don't have to go every second week. But before I used to. Yeah, it was fun though. I really loved it.
Yes, I bet. I missed seeing the Adobe team faces this time around.
Yeah, I know. Same here. Yeah, Vanessa is saying I'm Colombian, raised in China. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
what a
so
good
cool.
Mix.
Such an interesting combination. And Anna Karen is asking, do you guys both live in the US? Yes, we do. We both live in the US.
Yes, I live in Los Angeles.
Paco is saying, miss you too.
Oh, miss
Paco,
you,
Paco. Miss you too.
Paco is our technical master. Thanks to him, everything is going smoothly today.
Yeah, exactly.
So big shout out to him.
Yeah, by the way, thanks Vuduval for posting it. Post your challenges into the challenge hashtag channel on Discord. It's bit.ly/AI Discord. And we're going to be reviewing very, very soon. Ooh. And it's going to be in 1 minute, to be precise.
Talk a little Spanish. What do you want me to say? Diego is asking me, bueno, ¿qué quieren que diga? No sé. Podemos terminar el streaming en español si quieren. Así se me hace mucho más fácil, de verdad. me salvarían la vida.
I don't understood Navidad.
La vida.
A la vida.
The life. Navidad. That too. A little early for that.
Vuduval is saying Paco is the Lord of Tech. Yay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm talking too much. I'm not even getting to the design part.
I know. I always do the same. I like start talking and then don't work. Can we just have a chat and chat?
Chat and chat.
Chat and chat. That can be our new show. Chat and chat.
Or talk about freelance design. I mean yes. that would be something really, really cool. All right, my friends, it's time. It's that time of the day. We're reviewing some of your daily creative challenges. And the challenge of today was use the blend tool to create and combine graphic elements for a poster. Cool. And now we already see a bunch of posters here. We're going to start at the bottom and we're going to take a close look to some of your designs. Okay, life is a circle. I think that's really, really cool message here. And you also incorporated the, the circle shapes, which I'm assuming you have made with a blend tool. So that is really cool. I also love the way you kind of edit this blurriness. That's something we did, I believe, yesterday. What I would love to see here is bringing the circle lines to the front and, giving this more contrast. I think that would be something I would love to see. Or if they're not black, I would love to see them in black. Or actually, did you just add the blurriness to the circles? Because that would be interesting too. I think it's a great work. I would love to see the gradients also kind of adapting the colors that you've used throughout your artwork. But otherwise, I think it's great. Great work. Lina, what do you think?
Looks really cool. I really like the type treatment, and I would maybe either like give it a little bit more white space around, so that it's not so close to the side elements that you have on the composition, or like make it really big so it like cuts them, so it's purposeful. And maybe like I would try incorporating the two gray circles a little bit more. I don't know if that's doing it through color, or maybe, yeah, I'd say like maybe trying to incorporate maybe that pinkish that comes out of that blur can help those circles feel more incorporated into the design. But yeah, great job.
Yeah, Tunch is saying it's looking like kind of salmon texture. Very delicious. I love salmon. I love salmon. But it reminds me, in fact, it reminds me of like fingerprints. You know how you see the darker parts of the fingerprint? That reminds me actually of that. As if somebody went like, life is a circle. Okay. Great work by Chocolita. Señorita Chocolita, I believe on Instagram. Cool. And here we have an amazing poster by Ayushi Bhatt. Cool. I love the colors here. I love how you kind of took one curve and the other and blended them together. This gave a really nice effect here. I love that you still kind of left a little bit of spacing between the lines, so you did not you did not create too many steps between these, which creates these really amazing shapes. I really love those. They're like in between the lines, and this blend here looks really, really interesting and intriguing. I love the colors as well. I love how you played with the elements that I've provided, or I think you just added your own here to kind of overlay the D and a little bit of this. And you wrote blend, which totally is blended. And I really love this. I love the colors. I think it's really nice. You incorporated the colors from the gradients, so that's super cool. Clapping for you.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. That shape's really interesting. Super cool how it goes like on the trail. I really like it. I have nothing to say. I think it's maybe the only thing that I would do would be matching the thickness of the strokes of the blend to the strokes of the thing to make it more uniform. But I don't even know if that's gonna work better, or if it's already matching and I'm just not. It's like a visual effect that you don't see it the same, but I really like it.
I think inside the blend, the lines are a little bit thicker and they have a little bit more distance to each other. But in this blend, they're a little bit thinner and they are a little bit closer to each other. So maybe, as Lina said, maybe you can make these lines a little bit thinner and a little bit closer together, so a little bit more steps. But I think all in all, it's just really, really great
really
work.
Good. Great job.
Ayushi, great work. And thanks, Buduval, for posting our Instagram links. Make sure to follow Lina and follow me if you're interested. Oh yeah, my Instagram is not just another sunny girl anymore. Yeah, you know why? Because I had to do a presentation and I had to put my social handles and I just couldn't do it. I was with a bigger company, and I was representing Adobe XD, and I couldn't just put oh yeah, by the way, just how people have those old email addresses. They're really embarrassing when it wasn't created when you were like 14. So that's exactly how I felt, and that's why it's just Julia Masalska. I'm becoming a serious
Aw, you're growing
person.
up.
Yes.
No. You're a lady now, not a girl.
Yeah, right. All right, and the next one up is Sherry. To dream the impossible dream. Okay, that is a very interesting transition here. I'm wondering where this horse is going, if it's like flying away. Um it's really cool though. I like the way I can see that you were just experimenting and having fun, and you were maybe creating something that's relevant to you. So that's really, really cool. I can see that in this windmill you've applied this effect that I was talking about, this transparency effect. So you definitely experimented with the challenge, and I like the typeface here. It looks very familiar to me. Yeah, it might be one that I've been using recently. I remember I've been using this one. I think it was yesterday in our stream.
Yes, you were using it looks like
though.
it. I like that typeface too a lot. It's that Don Quixote. Looks like it.
Oh yeah, it looks like Don Quixote actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I like it. It's very, very like Don Quixotesque, like a little crazy. You don't know where the horse is going, but I like that because it matches perfectly with the quote.
Yeah, super cool. Great work, Sherry. I'm gonna give you a like. I'm gonna give you a thumbs up. Oh, and again we have. Oh, I love this version better. I love this version. This
me
is cool.
too. Yeah, and
it's way more clear. And you can also, it's really well legible. So you created a good amount of distance between the lines, and you made the lines thick enough so that you have this effect happening, but also you can read the text, which is very important in the poster. One of the most important things why people create posters is because they want to write something important, and that has to be legible from afar. So type is a very important part of posters.
Yeah,
and I love it. Lina,
yeah, this version, I'm liking this version so much better, and I think that's what I was referring to, like tying in the circles with the middle, because right now, since everything is black and white, it feels like it's tying in together. So I like that version better.
Cool. And is it the same person? I'm not sure. I don't. Yeah, Danilo. Was it Danilo?
Danone.
Oh yeah, Danone. Yeah.
Danone.
No, I just read the name in here, Danilo. I believe you're from the Ukraine, right? It's a very Ukrainian name. Okay, great work, Danilo. You did a great job. Wow, this is very interesting. I don't believe in fairy tales, and no one wants to go to hell. Okay. Interesting, but it definitely works. You pick this like mysterious dark theme, and it really works well with the dark in the background and its purple tones, and it looks very like some kind of witchcraft. And I don't know, just the typeface I feel like works a lot works really well with the background.
I agree. I usually like don't use or don't like those types of typefaces, but I think that you're making it work in here. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this one is by Lindsay Watch. Cool. I love it. No, it's great. And you have a big amount of experiment here. That's what I want to see. I want you guys to experiment and to see what you can do. And next one up is Fluffy Bunny, who is a Brady Goodling. Brady. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, you've played with transparencies here as well as with the blurriness. I feel like you combined different challenges here. This might be actually challenge number 5. And it's really, really cool overlay effects. Yeah, I think that's the challenge number 5, I believe, or 6. So yeah, you did a great job here, and I think the text is still legible, although you have a contrast going on in the background that kind of could compete with it, but I can still read it super well, and I think you did a great job here. I'll maybe make it a little bit smaller, and especially Malcolm X. I believe it's the person who the quote is from, right? Malcolm X. Anyway, so I would make that a little bit smaller, just because that's not part of the quote, and it's not the primary information. The primary information is the quote. So we want to keep the name of the person who basically said the quote, or the quote was published by, a little bit smaller. And that will also help the text pop a little bit. And I would arrange it also a little bit more in the middle. What do you think, Lina?
Yeah, I agree. Just like tidying up a little bit the text too, I would also decrease the spacing between the lines of text, because right now it seems a little bit too much, or something that brings it together a little more, and center it, and then again giving it some hierarchy with in papa, or like in difference to the name, or
yeah. And to make it even better legible, try caps. I loved using caps because because caps may really make things really well legible, but make it a little bit smaller for that. And Brady, great job. And next one up is Chris. Woo, I love the colors here. I love the way you kind of added texture into the text. And dream big, and put in the work, which is, I think, is a great message.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who did it is Crystal Blagojevich. So really cool work, Crystal, and I love the colors. I will maybe make the text dream big and put in the work in a little bit darker gray, just so because right now the darkest points are here around the frame, and that's not the most important information. The most important information that has to pop into your eye first is the text here, and that has to be a little bit darker so that the eye perceives it first. Yeah, but otherwise, I think it's a great experiment in the background. What do you think, Lina?
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said, making the text pop more. I think everything right now, it's set to it looks like it's all set to a transparency, or like an lower opacity percentage. I would bring back up just the name, the words of the quote, because right now it's a little bit hard to read, because you're adding texture and opacity so it's like a little bit like too many things at the same time. So if you bring that opacity up, or a darker black or gray, I think it would help for legibility.
Yeah, totally. And another tip that I see here, so we read from left to right? From left to right, from top to bottom. So right now, the word end is a little bit further on the left side, and I might even start reading there. So I would start with the left side, with dream big on the left side, then end on the right side, then put in on the left side, and work on the right side. That will give a better flow to follow with the eye. So if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, and but you can still keep this arrangement. I love the way you're kind of using the space and pulling the parts a little bit apart. Cool. And the last one, because we need some time to work, is going to be Marv, and it's going to be Marvin Laguerre. And this is super cool. I think you did a great job here working. I think you worked with some transparency setting that looks really cool, and it basically, maybe it's soft light, or correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure what this is, but I love the combination with the blur in the background. So that's something I'll have to try. This looks really cool, because it gives this bottom part, this green bottom part, by the way, great colors, some three-dimensionality. It creates a part where it looks like the light's falling on it. So I love this. I think it's really cool. Although the bottom part of the text is kind of melting with the background, is really difficult to read. We are stronger together. Okay, it's just basically copied. It's the same. Well, then it's not, it's like secondary, and it's not the most important message, let's say. So it's good. I love it. I think it's a really, really great job. You did a really good hierarchy, and you really aligned the components really well, so there is not too much white space anywhere. I really love the colors, especially. What do you think, Lina?
I love it. I love everything about it. Like, seriously, I think you did a great job in every single aspect. Like, even the way that you incorporated the information around. Like, you really took your time to make that blend into the design. The type choice, I love how the colors and the effects that you're using are working. I think it's a very strong piece.
Yay. Cool. Yeah, I would love to see this in your portfolio or similar pieces in your portfolio. Link me if you have any link, or send me a link on Discord. Cool, guys. You guys have done such a great job. I'm so amazed by this, and I'm actually trying to apply the typefaces that we have here.
You guys have worked really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And feel free to still submit your designs if you want them reviewed, or if not, just throw them in there. Maybe that will be a motivation for you to just, put it in and do a little challenge for yourself every day. And we're gonna do another one tomorrow, by the way. Same time as today at 11:30 Pacific time. And I'm looking forward to that one as well. Yeah, so my problem right now is, Lina,
you don't have
I don't have
fonts?
the typefaces. I only have Make Lemonade and TW. If you can drop them into Dropbox. Yeah. I think our typefaces are not loading right now. That's why I cannot grab them from. Oh, wait, actually.
If you go to
oh no, I
Dropbox,
have these two only.
No, let me see. If you go to Dropbox,
At
to our folder.
Yeah.
Your folder.
There's
the client. Oh, you're there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's why. Because the other one, it's an Adobe font, and if it's not loading
right now, I don't think it's loading. That's why. I'm just gonna play around with what I have. So, just gotta do that. See, activate font. I have to activate them, but right now I think the server, something is going on with the font server now. So that's the reason why I cannot download these. But I'm just going to use type for the other typefaces. Yeah, I'm not gonna use your accent one because it's not really an accent, I would say. Yeah. I want to see what you're up to, how your website is doing.
Let's do it. I'm actually just looking for something for her on Instagram, because I want to grab a quote from her site, how she frames it. Perfect. And I'll here. Okay, I already copied this information, and let me share my screen and I'll show you guys where I'm at. Here, share screen. Okay, and we're here with my screen.
Yay!
Cool.
So I think this photo that you picked works so well.
I like it a lot too.
Yeah.
It's a great picture. So what I'm just gonna walk really quick through this. So I just started putting some of the elements that we have into that template kind of thing. So you can see here how the recipes will gonna be displayed with our own fonts, and when we start putting in our elements into the website. And then here I just have a placeholder. This would be her Instagram feed. And and just like thinking how we can incorporate the elements or create new ones too, right? Because we need to see what categories of recipes she's gonna be having.
Yeah.
and that's also gonna help us inform what we can create for her.
Yeah,
So
totally.
right now I have these. I obviously don't see anything, so I'm gonna place an overlay to make the letters pop. And
Pop. It's so cute how you say it. Make the letters pop.
make it
That's so
pop
funny.
a little bit.
Yeah, and Vanessa is saying the tooth idea is so cute. Yeah, let's. I'm gonna work on that real quick. So we have our something that we wanted to make and some like recipe kind of thing, and I'm just gonna start with the teeth because why not? Because we can do whatever we want. We are our own Bob Ross. I don't know why I'm saying it so often recently, but I think I'm so sad that I missed out on Bob Ross and the times where he was so popular. I honestly, there's so many things that I'm really missing out on from the US, culture, things that I've never seen back in Ukraine, obviously.
I feel you. Okay, we have 5 minutes left, you guys.
Yeah.
Holy no, we're gonna miss you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna be back. Lina is gonna be back for sure. I'm gonna be back tomorrow, so just tune in and hang out with us. But we have only a couple minutes, and let's use them. Let's use them and create something cool last minute. Yeah, Lina, I think this is great. I think Sophia is probably already like, yay!
I hope so.
So cool.
And guys, don't forget to follow the Toothless Connoisseur because you're gonna see this brand come to life in there. So don't forget.
Totally. I think that is cool. I'm excited about that actually. All right. Yeah, I would love to. What's the sloppy joy? Sloppy joy. I'm trying to find the matching recipe to my photo. So maybe something. Baby ganoush with chickpeas, dill yogurt. That might be it. Baby ganoush, isn't it? Baba ganoush. Oh, but it's baby ganoush because it's for babies. How can I be so stupid?
No, don't say that.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're not.
Obviously, I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we only have 5 minutes left. Nah. Or less. 2 minutes. Oh no. 2 minutes left. Okay.
Okay, my friends. I think we have some things that we have set. Let's jump onto my screen real quick so that I can show you guys what I'm was about in the past minutes. Yeah, so we have some assets that are not ready, but kind of the color combinations I felt are cool, and the shapes to incorporate the photos or text I thought work really well. And of course, I've been using the brand colors here, just pulling them in. And recipes could look something like this. So that could be, for example, a post with like a little recipe. Of course, this is not perfect yet, but and also we can play around with the typefaces that I was not able to download, unfortunately. But something like this could be a post, and at the same time, it can be something useful for somebody to like download and print out for themselves. So yeah. That seemed to be fun to me, and we definitely have a lot of work to do still, Lina.
We will be sleeping late today.
Yeah, we'll do everything we can for Sophia so she can start over fresh whenever the quarantine is over and whenever we are going back out and experimenting more. So yeah. Yes.
Okay. And
And last
finally,
look.
last look at what I have. No, actually, I can't find my sharing. Oh, here. Sorry. This technology is not my friend. Let me just tell you that.
It's okay.
Okay. So, last look at these is
this looks like a website already. I think it totally works. I love it.
So
I
we're
love
incorporating this as icons too. And
yeah,
cool.
Awesome. Yay, that's so cool, Lina.
Then one thing that it's awesome is that after right now, like if I was going to design and develop a website, I can just pull this same thing into UX and into XD, and it's gonna read everything the way it is. So that's amazing that they can that you can just design in Illustrator and then jump into XD so quickly.
Yeah, I believe now in XD you can even export HTML. I forgot the name of the plugin, but I have to look it up. But it's pretty advanced now, and I'm hoping for the future that you can just export the HTML and just put it on your connect it to your domain name, put it on their server. That would be so great. Anyway, Sophia, thank you so much for trusting us with your brand. And I'm hoping that we kind of took you a couple steps further. And we are going to finalize all the designs. We're going to send them to you. Thanks so much for everybody in the chat. And thanks, Lina, for having me here on your journey, helping Sophia. And it's been so much fun. A pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.